Joining me this morning up here is Dr. Megan McGuffey, Community Crops Program Coordinator with Family Services Lincoln, and Eric Schaefer, President of Telesis, Inc., the parent company of local restaurants Laszlo's and Fireworks, Nash Leaf, the worker-owner of Salt Creek Farmers Cooperative, and Chef Nazim Khan, Executive Chef with Bryan Medical Center. And I want to point out that our Chief Sustainability Officer, Kim Morrow, is also here and instrumental in today's news. I'm also really pleased that we have key leaders in our community. Well, all of you are key leaders in our community. We have some folks who are elected and are going to have a chance to cast a vote on this plan. I want to acknowledge that we have City Council members Sandra Washington and Tom Beckius with us. We have Planning Commissioners Cindy Ryman Yost, and I believe Maribel Cruz is with us. And also County Commissioner Christy Yoakum is here, who's been an incredible leader in local food. So thank you to all of you who will be a part of the process going forward. We're really, of course, thankful to our hosts, the farm's owners, Sharuth von Bozekum and Kevin Loth, are hosting us here this morning. And they've been longstanding advocates for local food, and they've provided our community and maybe many of you at the farmers markets with wonderful fresh local produce and farmstead cheese. And their manager of produce operations, Ian Richmond, is also with us. Ian, can you wave hello? There he is. Thank you for what you do as well. But thank you for all of you for being here, for standing up, for showing your interest and support for the completion. We are making the announcement today of the completion of our new local food system plan for Lincoln. And in order for this plan to be successful in putting more food, local food on the table, we knew that it was important to bring a lot of people to the table. And so the 10 members of our community committee on local food were absolutely instrumental in this endeavor. And I'd like to ask them to raise their hands, the members of our local community committee, if they're here, and also to provide some special acknowledgement for former City Councilwoman Tammy Ward, who was pivotal to this effort. Along with Dr. McGuffey, the committee was co-chaired by one of the most tireless and enthusiastic advocates for local food in our community, Tim Rinna. So thank you, Tim. We're so grateful for your leadership, Tim, which we know is incredibly special and passionate. Some might call it relentless.
And we're grateful for yours.
Thank you. In recent years, Lincoln has undertaken several bold steps to secure our future as a thriving and resilient community. The West Haymarket and Pinnacle Bank Arena, the addition of thousands of units of affordable housing and new housing, new recreational trails, and our efforts to secure a second source of water are just a few examples. Another feature that can be added to the tapestry of a growing and vibrant Lincoln is an expanded local food system, which brings us to the reason that we are gathered here today. Lincoln's new local food system plan will position our community to reap the benefits of a thriving local food system, supporting local farmers, expanding markets, creating jobs, increasing food security, improving health outcomes, reducing carbon emissions, and instilling a sense of pride in our community. While we continue to rely on the global food system for many of our needs, enhancing local food production will make us less dependent upon it, more self-reliant, and more resilient. This plan identifies 4 main goals to help us realize these benefits. Invest in a thriving local food and farm community to increase local food production and food security. Increase and ensure access to healthy food. Promote food production practices that protect soil, water, and air. And reduce food waste. And to share more about the importance of the plan, I'd now like to invite up the co-chair of our community committee on local food, Dr. Megan McGuffey. As the Community Crops Program Coordinator at Family Service Lincoln, she's been dedicated to expanding Lincoln's local food system for more than a decade. Megan?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mayor. This is a very special day for local food advocates in Lincoln. We have been working on this issue for a long time because the food system is just as important as the transportation system or the water system of our community. It's a vital piece of infrastructure that we must plan for, maintain, and improve to have a functional and resilient city. Even in the agricultural powerhouse of Nebraska, over 90% of the food that we eat every day comes from outside the state. As we've seen in recent years, we are vulnerable to disasters impacting the global food supply chain, from pandemics to war. Wars to droughts. We can secure Lincoln and Lancaster County's future by planning for a better and more localized food supply system today. The Community Crops program of Family Service Lincoln serves hundreds of families every year with limited economic resources to help grow their own food in garden and farm spaces. This local food plan helps many of the issues that we see every day, from expanding land access so that more people can grow their own food, to helping open up markets so that our farmers can actually build successful businesses. Roughly 40% of the growers we work with are immigrants and refugees. These community members are an incredible source of strength and diversity in our food system. Many, like the Yazidi community from northern Iraq, come to Lincoln with extensive farming experiences from their home countries. They more than just grow prolific amounts of food. They enrich the tapestry of our local food system by weaving in their culturally important produce and foods to make Lincoln a tastier place to live. This plan is monumental for local food community because it shows government's recognition that the importance of food and agriculture is in the long-term vision for our community. The community feedback and conversations that this plan initiated shows the amazing things that can happen when we commit to setting a shared vision for our future. When I picture our community in the coming decades, I envision a thriving place filled with people from all walks of life and all backgrounds. I see us taking the challenges of climate change in stride because we're working to conserve our natural resources. I see that no one is going hungry and everyone is sharing in a vibrant, diverse, local food culture that draws people to our city because food just tastes better here. I see us bucking the national trends and investing in local farm businesses so that young people are returning to the land to build their viable futures. In short, I see Lincoln as the model for how local food can help a community stand out and thrive. So thank you to the mayor, my fellow members of the steering committee, and the many individuals in the local food community that have made today possible. I look forward to the passage of this plan and to continuing this work into the future to bring it to reality. Thank you.
Megan, thank you so much for your leadership in helping to bring this plan to fruition. Next up, I'd like to invite Eric Schaefer. Eric is president of Telesis, Inc., the parent company, as I mentioned before, to local restaurants, Fireworks, and Laszlo's, and more recently, Avert, Vertical Cultivations. Through Avert, Eric and his brother Brian Bowles are innovating new ways to grow and serve food from downtown Lincoln. Eric?
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations to you and your team for completing Lincoln's local food system plan and moving us forward. We believe it's important for our community to make bold moves just like this. As the mayor said, underneath Telesis umbrella is Laszlo's Marine Grill, Fireworks Restaurant, and now Avert Vertical Cultivations. We're an urban farm making change from the inside out in Lincoln's historic Haymarket. So at Avert, we grow produce indoors, vertically using a hydroponic system rather than the soil. And we're excited about how this technique allows us to grow fresh fruits and vegetables within the city. And this is not only part of our desire to eat more local and sustainable foods, but it's a tool to offer food to communities that are dealing with food scarcity. Vertical farming is not a replacement for traditional farming, but it's an opportunity to supplement where needed. We use repurposed buildings for our indoor operations so we can maximize our urban space and our crop yields. In our buildings, atmosphere, water, nutrients, and sunlight are all controlled so we can provide optimal growing conditions. And we use a hydroponic system, which is basically saying it's water is doing the labor of the soil. And the end result is fresh produce that is good for your health, good for the environment, and also secures our future food supply. Hydroponic farming is an opportunity to expand our food supply without taxing our limited water resources. It's not susceptible to climate-induced growing cycles, natural disasters, or disease. Vertical farms can grow crops year-round, which gives us more flexibility in the crops we grow based on the seasons, or if we have food that is in short supply. At Telesis, we always thought vertical farming was a cool way to offer our guests a unique dining experience while also providing healthier, more sustainable food than those that are grown from thousands of miles away. Little did we know it was a cool idea, but a necessary one. Since emerging from the COVID pandemic, natural disasters and labor shortages have impacted the foods that we've been able to offer in our restaurants. Fortunately, we've been able to modify the crops we grow and make adjustments to those shortages. And we see this as an ongoing problem, so we are excited about the idea of expanding our local food plan. Now, expanding vertical cultivations would allow us to provide a wider mix of fresh produce to our guests, to the community, to our employees, but expanding our individual neighborhoods' access to vertical farming could be life-changing. There are many opportunities on the horizon for repurposing vacant buildings. And I hope that these future operations will become more commonplace in Lincoln, providing healthier produce, food security, and preserving the natural resources around us. We believe in building a more sustainable and healthier environment for our children, and we are excited to see our community moving forward in this direction. Thank you.
Certifiable, organic or biodynamic, because it's a hydroponic system.
I can answer the question. To be organic means that you have to use soil. So with a hydroponic system, we can't use the term organic.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric. I mean, I think one of the things that we're trying to emphasize here today is just how this plan is expanding opportunities, both through traditional methods and innovative methods, so that we can help improve food security and economic opportunities. So thank you for the question. We'll do some Q&A at the end as well. One important component of the local food system is the network of cafeterias and dining halls in Lincoln's schools, universities, our senior centers, and our hospitals. And these institutions can be critical buyers of locally grown food. One chef who is already using local food in his cafeteria is Chef Nazim Khan, executive chef at Bryan Health, who also served on the local food plan steering committee. I'm going to turn it over to him to share a little more about his work.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Honorable Mayor. I work food every day at hospital, and I believe that food works as a medicine. Food makes people happy, and food brings the community together. That's very important things to know. At Bryan Health, we are always there for our community, and I'm proud to be here today because I believe this plan will strengthen our community. Whenever I create a salad station that features local growers, our hospital cafeteria, I see our employees get very excited. Sometimes I hear them starting having conversations about the featured farm. Maybe they knows the grower and personally, or maybe they visited the farm, or probably they're just living around the farm. So like we say, Lincoln, we are a big, small town. Having personal connections to the place where our food is grown means a lot to us. We have a lot of land in Nebraska. We know how to grow crops here. I believe we need to do more grow food that our residents can eat. In the long term, I would love to be able to source 60% locally grown ingredients to our cafeterias and hospital. More local food will positively impact our local economy. Locally grown produce is more nutritious than food that comes from somewhere else. At Bryan, we want to feed our patients, families, and co-workers with the most valuable, nutritious meals every day. As a chef, we can create a buzz by making meals with lots of interesting and locally grown ingredients. And in this way, we can get our community members excited about cooking healthy meals themselves. I hope that all the chefs who works in our hospital, school, restaurants, universities, senior centers, and other organizations will learn how they can source more local food that is grown in our local region. I'm proud to have been a part of this effort, and I look forward to seeing the local food system grow and flourish. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chef. And now I'd like to invite one of our local farmers up to speak. Nash Leaf is worker-owner of Salt Creek Farmers Cooperative. It's a 4-person organic farming co-op in Lancaster County. Nash was also a member of the Community Committee on Local Food, and he played an important role in shaping the plan. I'd like to bring it over to you, Nash.
Thank you, Mayor. I am proud to stand here amongst fellow producers, local food advocates, and all other Lincolnites who need to eat. Today is an extraordinary day as we gather here to unveil Lincoln's local food system plan, a vision that holds tremendous significance for us, the tenders of the land, and the stewards of our food system. As a farmer, it fills my heart with immense pride to share my perspective on this momentous occasion. A producer's journey is one of years of dedication, long days of hard work, and a deep-rooted connection to the soil and ecology of our city and county. Through the sweat of our brow, we dedicate ourselves to nurturing the land and cultivating the harvest that sustains our communities. It was only 3 generations ago that the majority of Nebraskans worked in agriculture and called themselves farmers. Today, the local food system plan acknowledges the pivotal role we play and paves the way for a future that honors our labor and nurtures our dreams for a better Lincoln. This plan recognizes that the success of our local food system lies in the vibrancy and vitality of its farming community and small businesses. It values our contributions and seeks to empower us with the resources, support, and knowledge needed to thrive. By creating a framework to increase access to affordable land and capital, technical assistance, and training programs, this plan lays the groundwork to ensuring farming remains a viable and sustainable livelihood for our existing growers and for the future generations to come. But the plan's significance goes far beyond individual producers. It fosters a stronger connection between farmers and consumers. It envisions a city that values and supports locally grown food and small businesses. And by promoting farmers markets and increasing ties with institutional buyers, it ensures our meat and produce finds its way directly to the tables of our neighbors, nourishing them with the freshest, healthiest, and most delicious food available. As growers, we are passionate about the work we do. We take immense pride in cultivating the land, growing food that sustains our community, and fostering a deep appreciation for where our food comes from. With the unveiling of Lincoln's local food plan, our vision is amplified, our efforts validated, and our voice strengthened. It is my hope that today marks the beginning of our city's local food renaissance. Today, I invite you to celebrate this moment, not just as spectators, but as active participants. Join us in championing this plan, for it is a testament to the power of collaboration, unity, and the unwavering spirit of our farming community. This plan does not mark the end of our work, but should act as a catalyst and a blueprint for all the work that lies ahead. It is my hope that we can work together to sow the seeds of a local food system that nourishes our bodies, enriches our souls, and builds a brighter future for all of Lincoln's growers and eaters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nash, for your service on the committee and also for your work and advocacy. Our local food system plan is a true grassroots effort, and by working together with local farmers, retailers, buyers, and consumers to expand our local food system, we can build a healthier, more equitable, and sustainable food future in Lincoln from the ground up. So thank you. Thank you for being here to support this, and we'd be happy to take questions from the media if folks have them. Yes.
Madam Mayor.
Sorry, could you identify yourself for everybody? Thank you.
Excuse me?
Oh, could you just say your name and where you're from?
Okay. First of all, I was able to
There's a microphone.
get over the lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's, large B cell cancer that I got as a firefighter in the last 4.5 months. Thank you for your support. Now I get to do what I really wanted to do when we moved back from Vermont to farm with my grandparents. And farming indeed I am doing down on 8350 West Van Dorn. I'm doing rotational grazing with multi-species, so I can handle goats, pigs, sheep, cattle, donkeys, anything like that. And my setup is only on 35.5 acres. Now, in weather like this, you may think, oh gosh, you know, at the beginning of the summer, it was just so dry. How could he handle it? But after putting up the fencing in 2010, I've been rotating cattle anywhere from 50 to more than that. And I have 12 secure paddocks that are 2.3 acres apiece. I divide those paddocks during the quick growing seasons and then push the animals through because it's fast growing. And they leave behind gifts for the soil. And that regenerates the 7 phylums of life that are in the soil that is a coexistence of fungi and other bacteria to help those plants gain and be protected against the uranium and heavy metals that was originally used as a binder for urea when it became available.
Hey,
and
Could we get to a question so that we can wrap up the press conference shortly?
So
Thank you.
I want to donate or to turn my farm into a teaching farm and have it as a silvo pasture that is has perennial plants that grow food, nuts, fruit, berries, along with being fertilized by the livestock. But I'd also like to make sure that it's secure for the future, because I can't, with chemo and everything, I was running around the house looking for my truck keys. They were in my hand. So I need help to develop that and would like to turn that piece of property into a conservation easement that would be always organic and biodynamic and train students. I've talked to Chuck Francis too, and he's very excited about it too.
Well, sir, thank you, first of all. Thank you for your service with Lincoln Fire and Rescue. And we're glad to hear that you're doing better health-wise. And thank you for bringing forward your generous offer to help participate. I mean, that's one of the wonderful things about this plan is it invites everyone to play a role, everyone to be a leader, everyone to contribute and develop ideas that help shape the future success, not only for today, but for future generations who could learn and have opportunities to participate in making sure that we have a healthy ecosystem and a thriving local food system. So thank you. Are there other media questions that you have before we wrap up? We have got lots of distinguished experts here with various backgrounds who could potentially weigh in. Yes.
So I guess what kinds of benefits will local growers kind of get as part of this program to kind of entice them to participate?
Well, I can let maybe Nash and others have a stab at that question, but just as one example, the plan outlines many different potential priority objectives that support the goals. And one potential example would be that we might seek federal funding to help support local food production or to create a facility where local food could be processed and therefore more easily accessed by local institutions like our schools or our hospitals. So helping to streamline processes to make it easier to actually access the amazing food grown locally would be one example. Do you want to take that as well?
Yeah. So as I said, I believe that this plan marks the beginning of our work, not the end of it. It is a multifaceted and diverse set of goals and objectives that we hope to achieve over the coming years. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, and it is tackling the issues that our food system faces from every angle. So it's not just one program per se, but rather a blueprint for the success of Lincoln's food system for decades to come.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Gwyneth Talley. I'm an anthropologist and an adjunct at UNL. I'm really curious as to the longevity of the project. Like, how are you ensuring longevity for, I know the plan is to plan for 5, 10, 20 generational years, but again, with changes to council over time and all that kind of stuff, how does this ensure longevity of the program within Lincoln and Lancaster County?
Anything starts with the plan, and I think we'll have to see what emerges, what pieces of the plan there will be broad community consensus around. We have to get it, of course, voted on by Planning Commission and Council first, but once it exists in our community for other people to take hold of, I think that's one of the exciting bits about it is it's going to be a creative and emerging process, but we'll work as we can to source resources to support the plan, to involve new people who maybe are just finding out about it today, and to remove barriers to participation so that more people can develop holly hamlets if they like, or more people can grow community crops. And I think once you see more of the plan coming to fruition, if you will, then awareness grows and awareness of how you can be a part of it grows. And if we are removing barriers successfully for our local producers, kind of as the last question pointed to, then it will be easier for our local farmers to have economic success. So, I mean, I think success will breed success.
When does this go into effect?
Well, that depends on our Planning Commission and our City Council, but it is scheduled to be considered by the Planning Commission on August 23rd, public hearing, and if approved, it would then go to the City Council on September 18th for consideration, public hearing, and a vote. So we encourage people to come down and share your thoughts on the plan during those public hearings as well, because that will be instrumental in shaping the outcome. Other questions? Okay. Did you want to say anything, Tim, before we go? I'm going to give Tim a chance to speak because he's been very involved. Don't go on too long.
I know.
I'm going to stay with you.
All I want to say is that this is the culmination of a 10-year-long effort. We have been going to meetings, we have been talking to people deliberately about the idea of getting Lincoln to the point where we would have a master plan for how we move forward for food relocalization. We would not be here today if there hadn't been an amazing team of people who are participating that entire time. No one person could have done it, but one person could have stopped it. We needed mayoral leadership, and we got it, folks. We got it. That's why we're here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here's a gift. Just for
Thank you. Thank you so much. Aw, beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you to all of you. I look around and I see so many leaders, so many passionate, committed, dedicated individuals who are going to make this a more thriving and resilient community, and I'm grateful to each and every one of you. And thank you for coming out today for the news conference, and let's make sure we get this through Planning Commission and City Council. Thank you so much.